So this is just a quick talky video because there's been a lot of stuff going on in the world of movies behind the scenes. Been a lot of new news I thought we would talk about, and this one in particular, the title is going to be Where is Marvel Headed? So the first one is there's a new She-Hulk. What do you think of the casting of the new She-Hulk? Tatiana Maslany. What's that? She's going to be playing the new She-Hulk. What do you think? Do you know her from anything?
Not that I know of. I might have seen like
Tatiana Maslany. She was in Orphan Black, Perry Mason, The Vow, Destroyer. Would you like down? Nothing that I know of.
Which I guess isn't a bad thing, because when you look at the likes of Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth and all them, they weren't really that known prior, so I guess it's kind of a good thing.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited just that they're bringing in a She-Hulk. The only thing is, I'm a bit miffed off that Mark Ruffalo isn't getting his own film.
Well, have you seen that deleted scene from Endgame or Infinity War? One of them where it wasn't properly done, but it was Hulk saving people from like a satellite falling or something.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was them kind of saying, okay, we're going to be doing a Hulk movie.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's just a bit annoying that
Mark Ruffalo isn't getting.
Yeah, I think if you're given Scarlett Johansson, who's obviously deserved her own film for a while.
Yeah.
I just think Mark Ruffalo is deserved.
To be fair though, I mean, for those people that have seen my Black Widow theory,
when you finally do it.
Video, yeah. It'll be out before this though.
We'll see.
It will. I actually do have a theory that there will be a Hulk movie. They just haven't announced it yet. Probably towards the end of this phase, beginning of the next phase.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like they can't announce everything, can they? And plus, it seems obviously
I think they just named the vital things in that phase.
The things that, just the beginning things, the things people were waiting for. They didn't even talk about X-Men or Fantastic Four yet, have they? But they did mention it.
Yeah.
So
it'll be interesting.
I feel like this next phase is going to be huge. It's probably going to be filled.
Speaking of the next phase, another casting that's been announced is, I don't know how to say her name, it's Iman Vellani. I think that. I don't know if that's how you pronounce her name, but she's been cast as the new Miss Marvel.
I saw that, yeah.
And one of her first things that she came out and said was that Captain Marvel was a 2 out of 5.
Well,
which is a bit harsh.
I mean,
she said it wasn't Brie Larson, she said it was the film.
Kind of was.
Thing is, I think Captain Marvel gets far too much grief.
I think
it's not as bad as everyone
Brie
thinks.
Larson was good as Captain Marvel. I feel like the difficult thing is you don't know what to put down to the writing, or you don't know what to put down to Brie Larson as the actress. It
was a bit basic, wasn't it?
Yeah, I didn't really. To me, it was the actual structure of the movie was a bit pointless. They should have just done it in chronological order
instead of jumping back and forward,
because it made it confusing.
Yeah.
For most people who don't, and plus, they didn't follow Captain Marvel's story really.
No.
So it was kind of just like.
Yeah, it was an original take on a story that isn't all that interesting anyway. Like, her story isn't. She isn't actually Captain Marvel, because Captain Marvel starts off as a man. He's either called Captain Marvel or he's called Marvel. Who, like, she is obviously, it's played by a woman in the thing, but it's not the same kind of story. Because in the thing, he has the powers, and she has the powers. But Miss Marvel she doesn't really have anything to do with Captain Marvel. Miss Marvel, the new iteration's Kamala Khan.
Isn't she supposed to be Monica? Isn't that the direction they're going in? Or is it not?
Something like that, yeah.
I've seen something like that, because the little girl in Captain Marvel, an older version of her is going to be coming into it. I'm not sure if it's Ms. Marvel or if she's coming into it.
Well, she's young. She's only a young girl. The one she's being cast as. She's
only young, isn't she?
She's really young because of the relative success of the Avengers game.
They're going down that. To be fair, they announced Miss Marvel ages ago, didn't they?
Yeah.
People kind of were an hour about what they were going to do and if Brie Larson was even going to be in the movie, which I feel like it should be. Not in the movie, the series, isn't it? It's going to be a series.
Yeah, it's going to be a series. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know anything about the lass. I don't know anything that she's been in.
No.
As far as I can tell, I think this is her first major thing.
Again, though, not a bad thing, because I actually kind of prefer it, especially when you first get into it. I don't want to be sat there going, "That's the person from this, and that's the person from that."
So it's interesting. It's interesting that they're going for Miss Marvel. Mm-hmm. It's interesting. She is an interesting character because she's a teenager who's like a part of this Avengers thing. Yeah. So it's kind of it should be cool. I think it'd be cool. Next one is WandaVision.
They released a trailer for that, which we're going to have to react to.
They've released a new trailer that we'll react to.
That video will come before this.
That video will come before this, yeah.
Basically, that trailer, you've seen it, haven't you?
Yeah.
It's
weird because it looks like they're going to do the multiverse with her. I think she starts it.
Well, the thing is that Marvel, the tricksy in Marvel, they hint so many times that the way the multiverse could come into it.
Yeah.
In Spider-Man Far From Home, sorry. They said that they snapped her a hole in a dimension that opened up the possibility of the multiverse, which I actually really liked. I felt like that was a really clever take. But what all they said about this before it was officially they started production is that her reality altering powers were going to be the key to it, focus behind this movie.
Because there's a thing that I read that said it'll be interesting if the way they do it is Wanda starts, she like balls up the multiverse by fiddling with it.
Yeah.
Spider-Man has to deal, his sort of movie's right in the middle of it, and he's got to deal with all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Doctor Strange sort of fixes it in the multiverse of madness
as much as he can.
Which will be the sort of,
which is clever.
It's long-term story planning, isn't it?
Because the way
she is going to be in that. She's confirmed.
The way it looks to me with that series is that she is almost trying to forget what's happened, because Vision obviously doesn't have any idea what's going on. As far as he's aware, he's not dead. But Wanda, she seems to actually like forget that, and it's like she's creating multiple realities to fit the kind of perfect life that she wants.
Yeah, because she can't have a perfect life, can she?
Yeah, because one minute it's like, in the trailer it's like the guys question her about whether or not she has kids and if they're going to have kids. That's when all that breaks down. But then the next time we see her, she's pregnant and has kids. Mm-hmm. So it's like she's constantly trying to create the perfect. And she does have the power to do that. She does have the power almost to bring Vision back to life. And there's a thing that said that he uses a power that he doesn't have, but she imagines that he has. Which is clever because if the universe is her building it around her ideas, then it makes sense. Also, though, I mean, our kids, I feel like it's a really clever way to bring our kids in, because they have powers as well. Mm-hmm. And she could kind of, although she hasn't actually had them, she can create them and create the powers that they have. Yeah. And same though, I mean, Aaron Taylor-Johnson. I mean, why couldn't she create a universe where Aaron Taylor-Johnson's alive?
That is true.
Why couldn't she?
Well, the thing that has been said is that it's weird, because this actually ties into my next point, is that not only is that, but we've also got Evan Peters coming in, and we've also got Jamie Foxx coming back as Electro, which is, it's crazy when you think about it, because and he's not going to be blue this time, thank God, because if those two signings, it almost feels like they're going, so the multiverse is definitely happening. It feels like the route they're going down is, because I feel like the reason they're doing that is probably because of X-Men. Yeah, because there's still a lot of good in the X-Men. They're going to be saying, that's a part of the multiverse, but that's not our take. Yeah. We're gonna here's our X-Men, but that is existed in the world. Yeah. Which is, to be fair, a clever way to do it, isn't it? It's, at least they're not saying, okay, forget everything. Yeah, forget everything you know about X-Men. Which also does leave up the potential of going like, okay, so we're going to get rid of the ones that we don't like. Yeah. But we are going to bring back like Michael Fassbender and James McAvoy. I mean, you want I wouldn't complain. And it also gives them the road of going, here, Hugh Jackman, here is all of the money, please come back as Wolverine, which I'm pretty sure everyone is dying for, because finally we can get our Deadpool Wolverine thing, which is another point that there's talks that Disney is going to offer Ryan Reynolds a record-breaking deal to appear in multiple movies, including a Deadpool 3. Which, I mean, to be fair, I don't feel like they needed to offer him
anything, he would have done it because
he's a hot dog. Come back and play Deadpool. Yeah,
he would have done it
because let's face it, Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool in real life, isn't he?
That meme of is Ryan Reynolds pin Deadpool, Deadpool
pin Ryan Reynolds. Yeah.
But honestly though, I mean, I would love to see like a Spider-Man movie with Deadpool. I would love to see
anything.
I would love to see just an Avengers movie with Deadpool because
if you're gonna bring Deadpool into it, please bring Robert Downey Jr. back and put him, Thor, and Deadpool in the same room.
And Star-Lord and
that's all we need. That's all we need.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing though, because you want Deadpool in it because he offers something that's completely different to the rest of the characters, isn't it?
But I feel like it's
although a little known fact, did you know that She-Hulk was actually the first character to break the fourth wall?
Was she? Oh, interesting. Well, she might be the first character to break.
She told the writers to improve her story in a comic.
I mean,
it's quite cool actually.
Good for her.
But obviously Deadpool is the famous one that everyone knows. Everyone knows that Deadpool breaks the fourth wall.
I feel like the way Deadpool did it was funny.
Yeah.
I feel like that was so different to what we usually see when the fourth walls are broken. It's usually like a narration kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas that was more like a ha ha ha, let's poke fun at myself and everyone around me kind of. It's more of a comedy thing.
Well, Jamie Foxx as well returning as Electro also opens the question of, can we not also bring back Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, which everyone is desperate for at this point. Despite all those people who like to pretend that Andrew Garfield was a bad Spider-Man, because he wasn't a bad Spider-Man.
He
was a different Spider-Man.
I think they were just in different interpretations. Tobey Maguire was more of the geeky kind of camera guy. Andrew Garfield was more of the cool
loner. He just seemed like more of a loner than Tobey Maguire did.
I also like the Gwen Stacy story. I feel like that was.
Emma Stone's brilliant. What a woman.
She was amazing.
That's another compilation. Just me, female actresses, and just him. What a woman. Just all of them are just brilliant.
And I mean, going down that though, I would love to see just multiple Spider-Men. I don't even know.
One thing to be said is that the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse happened, and it was absolutely brilliant. It's like everyone says it's the best Spider-Man film, which it's hard to argue. It is absolutely brilliant.
It is a really good movie.
And the potential to have multiple Spider-Men just seems brilliant, and it's like Tobey Maguire would absolutely 100% come back to play Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield, I'm not sure, maybe, but
the thing is, I feel like Andrew Garfield, you would do it if the script was right. I feel like because he did enjoy playing Spider-Man. He's talked about before. He really enjoyed playing it. It's just he didn't. I don't
think he liked the stick that he got.
Yeah.
Which is completely unfounded. I hate the people that say he was a bad Spider-Man.
The thing is, we've talked about before, and the way we've always summed it up is Tobey Maguire's a good Peter Parker, Andrew Garfield's a good Spider-Man, Tom Holland's kind of a good all-round.
Yeah.
That's
a good teenager.
Yeah.
He brings the teenage element.
He's got that kind of innocence, kind of.
Yeah.
The kind of innocence that Spider-Man should have.
Although that might be the other way around. It might be that I think that Tobey Maguire was a good Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield was a really good Peter Parker.
Oh, see, I really liked Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. I feel like he was.
He had the wit. He had the wit,
and he had the kind of Tobey Maguire, I just felt like as Peter Parker, he was so he was just better as Peter Parker.
The thing that both of those movies did that was so good was maybe not the first Spider-Man as much as the second one, but it showed how much he goes. He's more about individuals. He helps individuals. So Andrew Garfield helped the kid that was being bullied, didn't he?
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire does sort of do that. He saves people from fires and stuff, which is fair enough. I think that's something
he does in the first movie. In the second and third movie, they kind of veer off from that, I feel like.
Yeah.
I feel like in the third movie, I don't really feel like it showed you much of him saving people, really. It was more about the whole Venom thing, wasn't it?
The brilliant thing about the Sam Raimi one, and I don't think people don't. This is right. This might maybe going into rant mode here, but people always say the reason the Sam Raimi trilogy is better than Andrew Garfield's is because it shows what Peter Parker's sacrificing to be Spider-Man. He gives up his Mary Jane love that he doesn't because he ends up with her in the end.
Yeah. It's like Aunt May and stuff.
Yeah, and it shows his sort of his willingness to give up his life to be Spider-Man. But that's exactly what Andrew Garfield does in his.
Well, literally the second Amazing Spider-Man movie, he loses Gwen, he loses the love of his life, and it's sad, and he's like, I'm done being Spider-Man. But then he goes back to it because, you know, she like does
It's
that
bigger
speech
than
at
him.
the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spider-Man is bigger than him.
And like that moment with the kid where he goes out and he's got the suit on and he's like, you know, standing
Yeah.
there. That's what Spider-Man is. He's kind of a symbol, isn't he? More than like a hero. He's like brings hope to people, which is what Spider-Man should do.
Yeah, right, I think that's talking about Spider-Man because we've been talking about Spider-Man.
We can talk about Spider-Man too much.
So the next one is, obviously, this is supposedly part of a multiverse thing,
Yeah.
where a lot of people have been going, so let's cast other people as the famous superheroes, and one of the big ones that everyone's talking about is Tom Cruise as Iron Man in a different universe, because when the MCU was first starting out, Tom Cruise was one of the big names linked with playing Iron Man. So it would be weird, that, wouldn't it? What do you think of Tom Cruise playing a different version of Iron Man? Do you think he could pull off that sort of sarcastic?
Well, that's the thing.
If it's a multiverse, he would have to be different, wouldn't he? He couldn't be like...
The thing is, though, Robert Downey Jr., I feel like, was the Iron Man from the comics down to a T.
Yeah.
Everything about his personality. If Tom Cruise was to do it, it couldn't
be that version.
be that. Maybe like an older kind of have given up on, you know, life and
Or the alcoholic version of Iron Man.
Yeah, like, or maybe like in a world where Captain America died in Civil War, maybe he's depressed and he's like.
Yeah.
Although to be fair, Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man was depressed constantly throughout the movies that he did, the 3 movies. So it
would be interesting.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing. Next one is...
Going down that road though, just a little sidebar. I mean, John Krasinski is Captain America. Emily Blunt is Black Widow. Would you not have that? Because you want them as Fantastic Four.
They are my Mr. Fantastic and Mrs. Fantastic.
I know. I just thought it'd be quite.
Just a quick fantasy casting in case no one knows my thing. It's Krasinski is Mr. Fantastic, Emily Blunt is the Invisible Woman, Zac Efron is the Human Torch, and John Cena is.
I feel like by this point that's everyone's dream cast.
Well, I nicked it off Boss Logic. I'm pretty sure Boss Logic did it first, but I've never thought of who would be a great Doom. I've never thought about that. Doom. I think Doom would have to be a nobody, like not like a nobody, but like an unknown.
Like someone
who could just do something.
Who could come into it and just be like, here's what you've been waiting for since the monstrosity that was the second movie.
No, since the monstrosity that was Fantastic Four. 2015's Fantastic Four. It's in the film for 20 minutes. Died.
Did he? Who?
That was Doom.
I know, but was it animated?
Tobias. It was Tobias Keppel or something like that. I think that's his name.
I didn't like the second Fantastic with the first cast.
Galactus.
I didn't like that.
Didn't like the big floating cloud.
No.
That was threatening the world, but then ultimately never made it to the world.
I didn't really like the first one either. To be fair, thinking about it, I feel like Doom in the first one, he started out as quite cool and mysterious, and then he just slowly turned into nothingness.
He finally puts the suit on and gets beat in 2 seconds. Depressing is the word. Anyway, enough about Fantastic Four, because that's not one of the points. The next one is that Keanu Reeves has been getting contacted a lot. It supposedly gets contacted about every role. And the one that he's been linked with the most is Moon Knight.
Oh, Keanu Reeves. Isn't he just the best?
Who
doesn't love Keanu Reeves? Don't love Keanu Reeves. Get out of here. He's so amazing. If there's one actor that I would just want to meet just to say hi, it would be Keanu Reeves. Yeah. He's such a nice guy.
Good fist bump too.
Yeah. Just ask him how his days. You know, I bet not enough people ask him how his days. Selfish.
So, talking about Marvel, what do you think about him playing Moon Knight?
I mean, I didn't actually know that was a thing. I knew he was being contacted a lot, but I didn't think about Moon Knight, to be fair.
Well, the first way it broke the internet was by saying that he always wanted to play Wolverine. And then everyone was like, okay, make him play Wolverine.
Yeah, give him any role, I don't care. I'm sure he'd be brilliant in any role.
I really like him as Moon Knight. Moon Knight's essentially the answer to Batman, I would say.
Yeah.
Like a vigilante in Chicago, I think it is. I think it's Chicago that he works. He does his stuff.
Oh,
or is it Los Angeles? It might be Los Angeles. I
actually kind of like that as the idea. Because with all the John Wick stuff, I feel like he could...
It would be good as a sort of hand-to-hand action kind of guy, wouldn't he?
He can pull it off.
Yeah.
He's not like the big, like, stocky guy, but he's convincing when he does the fight and stuff.
Yeah. Because of things like John Wick.
Yeah, because he's awesome.
Would you lie down, you silly dog? You as well, lie down. The next one is, will Daredevil be in Spider-Man? So Charlie Cox came out and said that his Daredevil isn't going to be in Spider-Man, which is really depressing because he's an amazing Daredevil. Because the thing that someone came up with was, why don't you make it that
he's
the one that's Spider-Man's lawyer, which is a story in the comic as well. He does do that in the comics around the sort of Civil War.
The thing is, though, the predicament that Marvel have with that is if they recast him, it's a very dangerous road to go down because people love him as Daredevil.
And it's a hard thing to put in front of fans because fans love Charlie Cox as Daredevil. And especially season 3, he was bloody
because
fantastic.
Daredevil was so successful. It's, I mean, who else would they get? Ben Affleck.
Multiverse.
Don't do it. Don't do it, Marvel.
If you're gonna think is with Daredevil, I'm pretty sure they've already come out and said that John Bernthal's Punisher isn't finished yet. They said that they are going to keep him because he was a brilliant Punisher.
Why wouldn't he? I don't care about Iron Fist. Jessica Jones I kind of care about. I don't care about Luke Cage.
The only reason I care about Jessica Jones is because I want David Tennant still.
Well, yeah, I care about Jessica Jones. I said I kind of care about Jessica Jones.
Only because it's David Tennant. We love David Tennant.
Another person that I would just like to say hi to on the street, but...
Oh, me too. I would love to go for tea with David Tennant. Just have a cup of tea.
He seems like a nice
I don't
guy,
have my tea.
It would just be a kind of like a loud, kind of high-pitched talk. That's how David Tennant talks. But like...
Oh, I was just going to say it would just be a loud, high-pitched sort of squeal with me.
Between both of you would do that and he would just go, what? Like, he would just have that high-pitched. Yeah. But I feel like, though, as long as Daredevil and Punisher stays the same, fans are fine.
Yeah.
It's like you can't...
They're the two that the fans are clamouring to keep because, well, they were both brilliant. Next one is Karl Urban as Kraven the Hunter.
I don't think I know who Karl Urban is.
I'll get you the picture that everyone's using because he plays a character on The Boys called I haven't got the internet. So
I think I might know who.
Yeah, he plays a character on The Boys.
I think we talked about this before.
Bill the Butcher. I'll get him up. Hold on. Karl Urban. You'll see a picture of him here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do know.
Éomer from Lord of the Rings.
He was on Thor Ragnarok though.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that.
So how could he... Continuity, guys.
Yeah, as long as it's different characters.
Who did you say was going to play? Sorry, I wasn't really paying attention.
Kraven the Hunter.
I mean, I guess if they
in a Spider-Man sort of setting.
I guess if they did like makeup and then look nothing like what he did in...
I mean, in Thor Ragnarok he was bald and had pain and...
Well, he looked like himself, but bald, so if they just got rid of... Well,
he would have to have... For Kraven, he would have to have long hair. And, like, a beard. Because
give him like a fake nose or something.
Because he would be... That's what people want. They want him to be Kraven the Hunter. What do you think?
I don't know. I don't really know much about Kraven the Hunter, to be honest with you.
So he's his name sort of basically sums him up, but he eventually comes to the point where he goes, Spider-Man is the ultimate prey, and he goes on the hunt for Spider-Man.
I mean, he does have that kind of
rugged look.
I mean, in a nice way. You know?
Do you think Karl Urban's attractive? I never would have taken you as a fancier of Karl Urban.
I don't...
Fair enough.
I mean, kind of.
He doesn't do a very good British accent, like. Daddy's home. So he does. Alright, forget about that then. Alright, so the last point that we're going to talk about. Obviously, this isn't Marvel, but I'm going to ask the question anyway, and it'll be a part of there will be a Marvel bit in it.
Dun, dun, dun.
So, obviously, in Batman, or in The Flash, sorry, it's been revealed that Michael Keaton's returning as Batman. Now, Christian Bale's come out and said that he would gladly go back and be Batman if Christopher Nolan said it was okay. Ben Affleck's obviously going to be in it, and then now George Clooney and Val Kilmer have both come out and said that they wouldn't mind going back to play.
George Clooney needs to redeem himself.
As a part of this multiverse. So my question is, which one would you prefer? Would you prefer a Batverse with Michael Keaton, Christian Bale, and Ben Affleck, or a Spider-Verse with Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, and Tom Holland? Which would you prefer?
depends. It depends what the story is.
Yeah.
And what the bad guy is.
Yeah. So the Flashpoint is...
Because they both have really good villains.
I know, that's a hard thing, isn't it?
They both have such good villains.
Of all the DC characters and all the Marvel characters,
they have the best.
Spider-Man has the best rogues gallery and Batman has the best rogues gallery. Me personally, Batman, because I'm a big Batman fan, and if Christian Bale came back, then I would lose
Christian
my crap.
Bale. But also it depends, because if Robert Pattinson's Batman's good as well, then you have Robert Pattinson, Christian Bale, you have Michael Keaton.
I don't think Robert Pattinson's going to be in it.
Do you think?
No. I think Matt Reeves has come out and said he's his own.
Oh, that's depressing. Anyway, but you still got Michael Keaton, who I didn't think was that. Yeah, he was alright.
He was a good Batman. He was a good.
George Clooney needs to retrieve himself.
How much do you weigh? He says that to her lass as he's about to grapple away. He says, "How much do you weigh?" And then when she's a bit heavier than she thinks, he goes, 105. And she kind of goes, you know, I had some bread.
Had some bread.
Yeah, so it's a hard one, isn't it?
If it was a Flashpoint and it was based on a Flash, I feel like it wouldn't. I'd be excited for it.
Yeah, there wouldn't be much room for the actual Batman.
Yeah, I feel like they would kind of just be like secondary, helping the Flash try to get back to his world. Whereas I feel like if it was Spider-Man, obviously Spider-Man in the comics does actually go to the multiverse himself through the multiverse, and he kind of interacts with different versions of Spider-Man, so it's different, isn't it?
And I think the likes of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield have a lot bigger fan bases than the likes of Michael Keaton had, because obviously Michael Keaton was Batman way before superhero movies were a big deal.
And plus I feel like, I mean, not to be that person, but I feel like Marvel has quite a big fan base that would love to see that, whereas I feel like DC, the way that it's gone, fans are kind of torn. Yeah. With DC, either they love it or they hate it. So
well, there's a lot of people on the internet now that's saying the next 10 years is going to be DC's year, which I don't understand, because when you look at the lineup of Marvel films that are coming, I don't care.
Thing is though, when Marvel are now doing multiple movies a year,
but
they're supposed to. Obviously, there's a whole COVID
thing. We did this year. First year since like 2000 and something that a Marvel film hasn't been released.
Since I think it started, isn't it? They've always done a movie. Maybe since like the second Iron Man movie.
2009 or something, 2008. It's been.
Yeah.
That's depressing. That's really depressing.
I've seen most of them in the cinema as well, but
I know.
Yeah, so it's.
So let's say if they turn around, because supposedly the story in the Flashpoint, it's going to end up it's going to be that Ben Affleck gets written out of it, despite the fact that he's also, that's another point, despite the fact that he's come back and said he will play Batman again. He would gladly play Batman again, and he is actually, but we'll talk about that later. The supposed story is that Ben Affleck is going to get written out of the DCEU, so that Michael Keaton becomes the Batman in that universe, but he ultimately passes the torch on to a Batwoman. That's supposedly the story. I just can't see why they would do that when they've got a series dedicated to Batwoman. Obviously the series isn't a part of the canon, although it is actually now, isn't it? Because Ezra Miller was in the Flash series, wasn't he? So it is actually part of it. Oh my god, it's hard to think about all of this. It's really hard.
I don't like Batwoman. I watched the first episode and wanted to poke my eyes out.
Yeah. She's supposed to be a symbol of woman power, and she, instead of doing that, she just...
Right, rant moment. A strong woman does not need to say she is a strong woman. Sure, you're a strong woman.
I know. How many times did Black Widow say, I'm a strong woman? How many times did Black Widow say, this might as well be called the Women Men? Or what was it that? What was it that?
Should be called Ex-Women.
Ex-Women, that's what she said.
Yeah.
How many times did Black Widow have to say something like that? Never is the answer.
It's like, but what did she say? It was like I was like, it's a cool suit, isn't it? She's like, it will be
when it fits a woman. Do you know who you're... If I was any other character, even if I was an actor on there, I would have just gone, who do you think you are? It's like possibly the coolest suit in all of, like, superhero-dom.
One of the coolest characters.
Yeah, in all of superhero-dom, and you've just insulted it by saying it needs to fit a woman.
One, I'm doing a Lord of the Rings meme here. One does not simply insult Batman.
Exactly.
And not expect to be cancelled after the first season.
I know. Although it's coming back for a second season, just with a different actress.
It's not the actress, it's the writing.
It's the writing.
It's the writing.
Right, so, final answer. Batverse or Spider-Verse?
going to be controversial, but I'll say Batverse because...
I would have taken you for Spider-Verse.
Well, because I'd be more... I feel like if... I'm kind of interested to see where it goes. Whereas the Spider-Man one, I'm like, okay, I know it's going to be good, so I'm not like...
And also, I'm more desperate to see Christian Bale come back than I am for Tobey Maguire to come back. Even Andrew Garfield to come back.
I am
Christian desperate to see Christian Bale come back.
I was not expecting Christian Bale to say that, yeah. He always made it seem like he wasn't interested in coming back, but...
Well, he said he would never come back unless it was Christopher Nolan that was doing it. But he's just come out and said, if Christopher Nolan says it's okay, then he'll do it.
I mean, just get Christopher Nolan to direct it. Just Christopher Nolan, here's our money.
Pretty sure that's what everyone does anyway.
Exactly.
Did you see the video where I edited Christopher Nolan in ahead of it? That's good one.
Funny.
Right, so that's the end of our thing. What do you think about everything that we just said? Who would you cast as the Fantastic Four?
Are you excited for the Spider-Verse?
Are you excited for the Spider-Verse or the Badverse? Let's do a poll.
To be fair though, it's kind of the Flashpoint, so it's not really a Batverse.
Yeah. If it was a Batverse film, then I would definitely pick that over Spider-Man. But if it was sort of Flashpoint versus Spider-Verse, I would probably pick Spider-Verse. Because I do want to see Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield back as Spider-Man. And that's... What else? What else can we ask? The comments. What do you think is going to happen in WandaVision? Hopefully you've already told us in Katie's video once she finally decides to make it. That's not down in the comments. And I am, of course, Batman, and I'll see you soon. Thanks. Thanks for watching. That's what I said. Not I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.
And I'm a strong woman.
You're a strong woman. I'm a strong woman as well.
I need to know.